Imagine, for a moment, that everything you've been told about the world beneath your feet is only one version of reality, one possibility among many. Tonight, I want you to suspend what you believe you know, not to replace it with something else, but to let your mind wander into the space where unanswered questions grow. Let's explore a world where the Earth might not be the spinning globe we all learned about, but something far more controversial and far more mysterious. You've heard the arguments before, perhaps in fragments, perhaps in passing, whispers about a hidden geometry of our world. The flat Earth theory isn't new. In fact, its roots reach back to ancient civilizations, long before satellites, long before photographs from space, long before any institution claimed authority over the shape of our planet. Those early cultures looked at the horizon and saw something undeniably straight. They watched the sun rise and set and noticed no curvature in their daily lives. And even though most societies later embraced a spherical Earth, the older belief never truly died. It simply sank beneath the surface of accepted knowledge, waiting, quietly, for its moment to return. And return it did. Not through ancient texts, but through modern eyes observing the world around them. Some claim that when you stare across vast distances, whether from mountaintops, across oceans, or over frozen plains, the horizon doesn't curve. It holds steady, flat, unbending. They ask, if the Earth really were a massive sphere, why don't we see the drop? Why don't buildings tilt away from us? Why does everything appear perfectly level? Supporters of the theory often point to flight paths as another clue. They argue that certain routes, especially those in the southern hemisphere, seem more direct on a flat map than on a globe. To them, these paths suggest a different geography than the one we've been taught. They question whether the maps we rely on reflect reality, or whether they've been shaped to fit a predetermined model of the world. Then there's the story of Antarctica, a place shrouded in ice, mystery, and strict international regulation. Some say it's not a continent at the bottom of a sphere, but a massive ring of ice surrounding the edges of a flat world, holding the oceans in place like the walls of a colossal bowl. They wonder why ordinary people are restricted from freely exploring this vast frozen frontier. They ask why military treaties and scientific agreements seem to turn this remote region into something guarded, protected, and consistently out of reach. And what about history? For centuries, exploration was the key to understanding our world. Ships sailed to unknown places, charting coastlines and discovering new lands. Flat Earth supporters argue that many early explorers described the seas as level, the stars as rotating above, and the horizon as unwavering. They highlight old navigation techniques based not on planetary curvature, but on angles, lines, and direct observation. They claim that the shift to a spherical model was gradual, influenced not just by science, but by political power, religious belief, and the human desire to impose order on the unknown. But let's step into more recent times. Supporters of the flat Earth concept often ask about the authenticity of space imagery. They question why some photographs of Earth appear as composites, stitched together from multiple shots. They wonder why, in certain images, continents look larger or smaller than expected. They scrutinize the glow of the atmosphere, the visibility of stars, the contours of the clouds. And with every pixel they analyze, their suspicion grows. Could these images be more crafted than captured? Then there are the experiments, hundreds of them, done by amateurs, enthusiasts, skeptics. Lasers fired across lakes, gyroscopes tested for drift, balloons sent to the stratosphere. Some experiments show results that align neatly with a spherical Earth. Others produce outcomes that raise lingering questions. And that's where the mystery deepens, not in definitive proof, but in the inconsistencies that refuse to go away. The theory takes a stranger turn when it enters the realm of human perception itself. Why does water always find its level? Why does the horizon rise to meet your eyes no matter how high you go? Why does no one seem to feel the Earth spinning beneath them at nearly 1,700 kilometers per hour? These questions, simple yet unsettling, sit at the heart of the flat Earth narrative. Not as answers, but as challenges to assumptions we rarely examine. And then we reach the new frontier, digital technology. As more people gain access to high-resolution cameras, drones, and personal weather balloons, fragments of alternative observations spread. Videos of impossibly distant objects, claims of level horizons at high altitudes, amateur footage that seems, at least to some, to contradict official explanations. Whether these images reveal a hidden truth or simply reflect the limits of perception is still uncertain, but they continue to fuel curiosity. This is why the idea persists, not because the evidence is overwhelming, not because experts are convinced, but because the questions refuse to fade. Every answer leads to another question. Every explanation opens another gap. And within those gaps, imagination thrives. So tonight, as you listen, let the thought linger, not as a belief, not as a revolution, but as an exploration. What if the world is not exactly as we've been taught? What if history is a tapestry, woven with threads of truth and threads of assumption? What if mystery still exists in the places we thought were fully understood? Maybe the Earth is a sphere, maybe it's something else entirely, but the real mystery isn't the shape. It's the silence that surrounds the debate, the unspoken questions, the ideas pushed to the fringes instead of discussed openly. And perhaps that's what no one tells you, that the truth, whatever it is, might not be found in certainty, but in the courage to ask the questions most people avoid.